There's a hidden meaning in the episode title, The Hateful Darkness, that quietly reveals how Daredevil is going to be trapped in episode 7, and it all revolves around a place Matt Murdock believes is safe. At first glance, the title feels like it's just setting the tone, but it's actually pointing directly at Matt's biggest advantage, darkness, and how it's about to be turned against him. While the city remains distracted by Kingpin and his political rise, a far more unsettling threat is emerging. Muse doesn't care about control or power. He cares about expression, and that makes him far more unpredictable and dangerous than anyone Matt has faced before. In this episode, Muse targets the Blind Underground, a network of visually impaired individuals who navigate the world using heightened senses, much like Matt himself. This isn't random. It's deeply intentional. Matt has quietly supported this community for years, and by attacking them, Muse is sending a direct and personal message. He has figured out that Matt has an emotional weakness for people like him, and he's exploiting it with precision. But Muse takes things even further by turning these attacks into disturbing works of art. His murals aren't just meant to shock the public. They are carefully designed sensory trails that only Matt can follow, using scent, sound, and subtle patterns that ordinary investigators would completely miss. This creates a psychological trap that Matt cannot ignore. As he follows the trail, he's forced to arrive at crime scenes before the police, guided by abilities he cannot publicly explain. That puts him in an impossible situation. If he stays and helps, he risks exposure and legal consequences under the Anti-Vigilante Act. If he leaves, he allows Muse to continue his horrifying work. Either way, Matt loses control of the situation, which is exactly what Muse wants. He isn't just creating art. He's manipulating Matt into reacting emotionally, pushing him away from logic and into instinct. As Matt begins to act more like a predator than a lawyer, he unknowingly becomes part of Muse's design. His anger, his urgency, and his need to stop the violence all feed into the narrative Muse is crafting. This leads to a final confrontation in complete darkness, where Matt would normally have the advantage. But this time Muse is prepared. By using high-frequency sensory interference, he disrupts Matt's radar sense, effectively stripping him of his greatest ability. In that moment, the hunter becomes the hunted, and the story shifts into something far more intense. A survival scenario where Matt has to fight without the very sense he depends on. By the end of the episode, even if Matt manages to save lives, the consequences are unavoidable. His repeated presence at these hidden crime scenes starts to raise suspicion, and the connection between Matt Murdock and Daredevil begins to form in the eyes of the authorities. Muse doesn't just want to defeat him physically. He wants to expose him, to break down his dual identity, and to prove that even the devil of Hell's Kitchen can be turned into part of the art. And that leaves one haunting question. Can Daredevil truly defeat a killer who understands him better than he understands himself? Or has Muse already won the moment Matt stepped into the darkness?